All right, guys, welcome back to Only Divergences. Today's Monday, November 15th. This will just be a quick Monday wrap video. In yesterday's video, we said that we should expect the market to gap slightly higher, which it did, and then pull back somewhat, but that the pullback would not really be fatal. You can watch that video on the top right here and, hold me to my word and my prediction. In fact, that's why I put videos out in this community so that, when I'm wrong, you guys know that I'm wrong. And when I'm right, you guys know that I'm right. Okay, it's all about honesty and transparency here. But if you are a subscriber, you know why I said that, right? And it's because this current rally right here looks a lot like this rally back here in March, which we call the analog. And the similarities have been very strong as we've been pointing them out for weeks and even trading some of these moves as well for some modest gains. Obviously, you're not going to make a 20xer in any of these types of moves, but there's lots of potential. Now, as always, we cannot assume that the similarities will continue indefinitely, right? But we can use it as a guide to provide parameters for our analysis. Furthermore, you will notice that while we are acting very similar in this correlation, it is starting to slowly maybe come apart, and let me just explain what I mean, right? So we had this rally, right? And this DMI indicator, which I absolutely love, and I encourage everybody to study it because it's just absolutely fantastic. This DMI showed green down here, right? And when green was down here, we were talking about it. We're like, look, this is really extreme. And the reason why is because look at how many times green has been down here, right? Just take a look at this slide here, and you just move your mouse all the way back. Last time we had green was up here. What happened? Well, we had a few pullbacks. Actually, we had a couple days of pullback. Last time we had green back here, what happened? A couple days of pullback. Last time we had green here, a couple days of pullback. It's basically when you get green down here, you're pushing the limits of how much the stock market can go higher without some sort of a pullback, right? I hope that makes sense. Right? And also, if we focus on the specifically the DMI analog from March, you can see that we had. Here we were having green was coming down, and then when it got to here, it turned around, and then similar to the analog, we had green coming down, and then when it got to here, it turned around. So, we were thinking that there might be a little bit of pullback, right? And this is really just testing pattern recognition. There's nothing magical or special about being able to predict the market so accurately, right? It's just basic pattern recognition. Every time we had green down here, we had a pullback. It's not rocket science, all right? After that, well, let's take a look at the analog, right? So after we had the 2-day pullback, we had a green day, and then we had a red day, right? And that's why we predicted this, because that's exactly what happened here. After the pullback, we had, a nice, bounce. It wasn't exact, right? So we had 2 days of pullback, and then we had a consolidation day, and then we had a bounce, and then we had a red day. And that's really why I say that, it's a nice correlation, but it's not a mirror image. And so you cannot assume that these things are going to be mirror image exactly, right? Because, you might have gone short here and thought that it would go all the way down here, but it didn't. Specifically, when we're looking at the analog, one thing I want to point out, objectively, that we can say, okay, well, how is the analog objectively falling apart? Well, I pointed out the fact that we have that extra day here, but also notice that, back here, the red after the green day, it came right down to this orange 10-day exponential moving average, and then even the next day opened at that level. So there was lots of traffic, you can say, at this 10-day exponential moving average. If we take a look at our current one, well, today we only tagged the 5-day. We had a bit of traffic here, but this seems a little bit more bullish than the previous analog. And that's in line with the idea that the current rally that we're in is much stronger than the previous ones. And I think this looks somewhat dangerous, as we could be flirting with a potential blow-off top. But if we do have a blow-off top, the end of it is obviously very far away, because we're consolidating. You want blow-off tops have, multiple 1-2% green days in a row. Now, I may put out a video that goes deeper into that, likely this weekend, so subscribe if you want to know what my ultimate S&P 500 price target is, and I do have one, and I will tell you that. Or just like this video and let me know you want me to make that video, because I'm not going to put effort into a video that people don't want. So we can assume that this analog will continue relatively similarly, right? And honestly, until we have a material bearish divergence on some sort of a higher time frame, we cannot expect a material pullback, right? The trend remains intact, and if you are not a trader but just a holder, you could probably sit tight. And I promise you, I will warn you if I see any material downside potential, just like I did back here when I started the channel. And we had this 8% correction. So make sure you subscribe if you want to really understand what's going to happen in this market next. Now, since this rally has the potential to get stronger, I think this resistance line here is going to be the line in the sand. So let me just draw this. And this isn't something special for me. The DMI stuff, I don't see other people do it, but this stuff is, everybody and their grandma's got this trend line, right? So it's basically this one right here. And again, it's not a perfect trend line, but if you've seen some of my other videos, you know that trend lines actually don't have to be completely perfect. They just have to be, as the expression goes, good enough for government work. While technical analysis is a science, trend drawing is an art. So you have to balance all of that at all times. So if we do break out above this, which, maybe we can get a little frothy here, towards the end of the year, everyone's talking about a year-end rally, Santa Claus rally, and if we do stick with this analog here, even if we do get some volatility, ultimately from this analog, the stock market did move higher. Right now, is it going to be able to do that by the end of the year? So here's 2022, right? So where are we going to be when we are at 2022? Could be somewhere up here, also could be somewhere down here. Again, you have to play this by ear, and you have to engage in dynamic analysis. Okay, that's what we're doing here. Now, if we do get a blow off top, we're going to have to make bigger arrangements and conduct broader analysis, because we could have a move. When I say blow off top, I'm pretty much talking about this move here in 2018. I'm sure you know about this move. Come on here. Yeah, this one right here, right? So we were in a strong rally, and we just kind of continued and continued. You can see we had this green here, but just because you have green, it doesn't mean that the entire rally is going to turn around. It just means you have maybe a couple of days of pullback or what have you. And it's only when you get, I don't want to pull up the weekly, but if you take a look at the weekly on this, you'll see that there's clear kind of, actually, you know what, why not? Take a look at the weekly here. And what do you see? Well, you see weekly green down here. And then you have to ask yourself, well, when's the last time we saw green on the weekly down here? And look at this. Never. This is the most overbought we've ever been. So that's what I mean when I talk about blow off top. I'm not talking about the pre-COVID highs up here, right? That wasn't a blow off top. This is the textbook 100% blow off top here. And you can see it in the technicals everywhere. And I don't think green has ever been that low on the weekly time frame. So that's really what I'm talking about here. And here's another thing to understand about this is that we had a blow off top, and yeah, we had a 10% correction, but the market bounced. Yeah, it came back down again, and then it bounced again. Yeah, we had this, but I mean, this was months afterwards, right? This was a larger weekly bearish divergence. Again, we don't have that right now, and if we do, I'll let you know. Right? So just subscribe to make sure that you're on side when anything happens, right? Okay, so back to the daily. Okay, so back to the daily. Look, for now, it appears as though we have come off of this initial thrust stage, right? And that can be objectively outlined by the fact that MACD has now kind of come to nothing, right? There's no more green, positive green histograms here, right? So it's come off similar to what we had here, right? Except this looks a lot smaller than this, right? And that's why I'm saying that this could be a stronger rally, because you have a lot more bullish, you have a larger bullish structure here with this big MACD move higher. But with that said, I will continue to adhere to this analog for now. And unfortunately, that means that there is limited trading potential in the S&P 500, but we could get something soon. Keep an eye on this daily DMI here. Look what happened back here in the analog. We had a green down here, then it came up, and then it spent a few more days, weeks, yeah, a couple more weeks before it came back down here again. And then, maybe there's a little bit of a short trade here, and then finally kind of gave up a little bit more of a larger dip, right? So that could be the case, but I doubt it, because I don't think that the market is just going to give it a 100% repeat of an analog that happened before. That doesn't happen all the time, and I think that it's kind of like a gift, right? Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you get stocks that just repeat like that, and that's a gift. You buy options, you make 800%, fantastic. but I don't think that you want to assume that that's what's going to happen here. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. As always, as confident as I sound in my analysis, this is not investment advice. I'm just trying to show you what I think could happen and what the basis of that is, right? I'm not pulling, news articles or crap out of my ass. I'm just showing you the charts and saying, look, it's happened in the past. Maybe it can happen in the future, right? So if you appreciate that and you think that that's the right way to look at markets, then subscribe. That's it for now. I will see you after the close on Wednesday, guys. Take care, and I'll see you later.